Okay, part two, or now my bigger kit. So, why I explained in the other video, but I'll explain if, in case that you get into this first video. I always separate my kits in two different kits. I have one smaller kit that I keep on the top of my, especially because this will be my wilderness kit, and so I have a kit that I keep separate um, than this major kit for emergencies, so bleeding, airways, CPR progress, or things like that. And in my wilderness one, I even have an EpiPen in there in that kit, so that way if I have an allergic reaction, I can pull that out, and it fits it. So the box is a little bit bigger than this one, but it fits that kit. And the reason that I keep it separately is first, when I go hiking, this is a pretty big kit to get on the top, and it's on the heavier side, and so you don't want to keep stuff very heavy in your pack. So it kind of goes into the middle to the bottom because it's not something that I'm going to be using quite often, hopefully not too often. And it's more like when you get back to the camp and stuff. So that's why I carry a separate kit, because that one can stay on the top of my backpack. Very easy to, because if somebody's bleeding, you don't want to be going for this kit, opening everything up and stuff. The other reason that I separate kits as well is that this become a redundancy of the other one, and it have like kind of, like I said, different purpose. So we'll go with this kit now. Since I move here, and it's always recommended to, but now I live in a region where it rains almost constantly, and even if you cannot keep anything dry. Like no matter what you try, like last time I went hiking, even if you have like a protective thing over your backpack or something, everything just soaks through and gets wet. So everything is in dry bags in my bag now. They're bags inside bags because yeah, like last time, literally there was like water at the bottom of my backpack because I would be hiking for 7 days, pouring rain. The other reason too is that I started to do more kayaking. So obviously, when you go kayak, even if they're in the dry part of the kayak, if you flip over, water can get in and things like that. And you're near water, so you could drop a bag or something. So everything is in dry bags. It's not more expensive than the usual kits. It's just that there's less pockets and stuff, so you kind of have bags within the bags. But I bought this dry bag here. It contains my kit completely. As you can see, it's pretty decent size because obviously more knowledge you'll have, better your kit. But this kit can take care of a lot of emergency, as you'll see, and it has some redundancy for other kits. And this is what I would call like a leader slash expedition kit. Being the nurse, even when I go for a day or something, you're kind of have a higher expectation because people will kind of look at you. So if you just have like a first aid or something like that, and what they call IFAC, like an individual first aid kit would probably suffice. But more knowledge you have, more you carry, and I mean, like again, I mean, help. Most of the time that I had to use my kits, it's never been for me. It's always been for other people. When I went hiking, you're from. I was like one incident. I was rock climbing just beside somebody, and they got injured right beside me. So the kit never was used for me, but it was used for that person. And again, you're responding to emergencies because of your training, and you feel that kind of responsibility. So obviously, the kit is a little bit bigger than most kits would be. So within the kit, again, because one of the problem with dry kits, it's great to keep the water out, but the problem is that there's not much pockets with them. I have to create my own little pockets. So what I use is those, I forgot the bags, but I'll put a link below. So basically they're dry bag, lock sack. Yeah, there you go. You can buy some of those kits like together. I think like $20, and there's like different size and things like that. So they're like basically. I could probably do the same thing with Ziploc, but those bags have a little bit higher material. They're obviously better quality than the Ziploc. Um, but the problem with a bag inside the bag with other bags is that the kit price can start going, because now just even like before you start putting the items inside, um, it just costs you close to like $40 or $50 of bags, um, and you don't even have any equipment in. So Ziploc could be the good start for. And there's different size of Ziploc. Everybody has Ziploc. The other thing too, and it's just that it becomes a little bit inconvenient, is that seals, those sealing machine. So you could seal, but obviously once you open the kit, you have to reseal it at home and things like that. So that's why I went with those ones, and it keeps like everything separate. So I know, like as you can see, this is my module for wound care. I have another one there for other purpose and stuff like that. So let's go through the good stuff and some. Um, so the first kit that I have here, that's my rehydration kit. So in there, first of all, I have like to do my own rehydration formula, despite that I have over here. It's a, I forgot where I bought that, but basically it's a little spoon, and you mix the ingredient based on that. So for example, you add one level A, so that's this one of sugar and this much of salt. So that's the cool thing, and the recipe is running on there, and you mix that on with water, and then it tells you how much dose and stuff. So that was a cool little tool to have, and uh, it's just easy to, and comes with the form, but you don't really need to have this. You could have like your own formula and stuff. Over here, right away I got Imodium, because usually that's the package that's gonna come with that. I also have like those rehydration salts, so I can make kits like right away if I don't want to continue this. You can buy those pretty cheap. Those are two different mark. Um, when you buy for rehydration, make sure that you buy the good ones. They're, like I said, they're not very expensive. They're hide well and stuff. They stay for a long time in your bags. Because some of them, if they're not well balanced or if they're too hard, you can create more problems than anything. So, because some have too much electrolytes or too much sugars, and then basically you can worsening the situation. When I was talking about using a seal, so you see one of the kits here is sealed, because that one again, I won't be using it very often. So I reseal all this kit over here. It's more abrasive resistance. So this is my kit for rehydration. Won't talk too much about it because it could be a little bit controversial. It's a little bit an advanced setting, but with this, as you can see, I got some salt. I got a little bag. I got a little tube, and basically I could administer some liquid subcutaneously with this kit over here. But again, I won't be talking too much about that, but it's one of my, I'll put link below of articles that talks about using this kind of techniques in dressing. I don't really subscribe to the philosophy of the enemas, water through like the rectum and stuff like that. Seems to me like, sure, maybe you could get that, but there's way better ways of giving salt, water, fluids to somebody else, and as well as using rectal fluids. I mean, that's all somebody that has like a lot of constipation, that's what we do to make them go to bowel movement. And so if you don't titrate, meaning like how much fluid it goes in and out, you could go to the other side and basically creating more diarrhea, then you're going to create like rehydration. So I stick to PO. Um, in other kits, I could go intranasal as well through the gastric tubes and this route. So here, what I do have is a bag that makes a liter, and so basically with this now I can create my own water or even those ones. So basically one pouch with this pouch, fill that with clean water, drinkable water, and then now I can rehydrate the person with that. And so that's why it's in that little pocket here. Got a SEM splint, multi-purpose items, multi-use items, mostly for fractures, but you can do a lot of things with that. So that's why I have this in my kit. And mostly I keep those for upper extremity fractures. You'll see what I'm going to recommend for lower extremities. We'll go straight to that actually. And so it's an item that you don't really have to have, but I had it around and it has multiple use. So what it is a spinal board strap, and any strap would do. Is just that's one I had around. But basically what you want, as you can see, that's pretty long, and it has a buckle at the end, and it's see, like it's stock. So a bucket like this. And what you could use this for, well, first of all, like an improvised sling, but also if you're transporting someone, you could use this. And so basically, if I turn that around and somebody put this on their other side of their shoulders, now we can carry someone. The other purpose of this is that you can attach two legs together, put this basically under the foot, and then as you flip that over, the legs, and you attach that, you could tie legs. Yeah, so there's a multiple use of this, and so this is why I carry it in my wilderness kit. And this is what I would use for broken legs and stuff like that, because obviously the person won't be walking with this. Pelvis fractures as well. You could do a pelvic binder that we call, and so that would be the use of it. Obviously, this is more video on my kit, on what I carry, not so much on how to use those items. But then I carry a bunch of tapes with a pair of scissors. This is the tape that you can use for making kind of athletic tape, and a little bit of electric tape. One of the reasons I have a roll of electric tape in this one is that, again, I'm working a lot in kayaking environment, water environment, and electric tape is a little bit better for that kind of purpose. So that's why I carry over here. But talking about tapes and attachment, Coban or vet wraps, awesome. Again, for water, that's great too. It doesn't absorb a lot of water. It's very abrasion resistant. That's also good for what we call a secondary dressing. So, for example, if I put a dressing on my finger, especially, for example, in my work where I put a lot of glove in and out, in and out, in and out, the dressing, because of the friction, it's kind of going to roll on the edge. But if I put that on this, the abrasion will kind of be resistant from that. So, or if you have like hot spots, that could be good as well. And it has an elasticity to it, so I have multiple purpose. So I carry the little ones like this, and I usually have a roll, and I don't know if I have it in my kit now, but I usually have a bigger roll too, which is about this size, for bigger wounds as well. So then I carry, and if you're able to get your hands on those, I was able to through the work, but they're called light hair. And if you ever had somebody that is asthmatic and needs their puffers, We always recommend to use what we call an aero chamber, and it's because of the delivery of the medication. And what this is basically an emergency aero chamber. And so what you do is I won't do it because now I'm on video, but basically, see, it creates, so you would put, you ever seen like the people putting the medication? So what you do is you would put the medication where my thumb is, and then the people would be able to breathe on. And so it's a great one to carry in a kit like this because the bigger ones they're you can improvise one with like a 1 liter Coke bottle. So can kind of give you the idea of like how big they would be. But those ones for an emergency one, it's great, and so that's why I carry that in my kit as well. And yeah, they're called, and I'll try to put a link down. I think you can get those online. Sometimes they're quite expensive though. So those ones I was able to get at the hospital because we carry a few of them. But this is my another pocket here. It's long-term care, and I did videos in the past about this. So that's my Foley and my condom. Won't talk a little bit more about that one because I did tons of video about this. This is a 14 French suction catheter. Can have multiple use for that. Again, it's more for my kits, so I'm not talking much about what to do, but as you can see, that would fit over here. So now I could, that's one way that I could administer fluids through. You could suction with something like this. You could use this as a, what we call the Foley, so put that so people could pee. You could use the tube as well as a nasal there's tons of stuff that you can do with this, and so they're very cheap, very easy to carry. The only thing though, and this one is starting to make it a little bit, when you put those in your kit, be careful how you fold it, because as you can see here, I don't know if you'll be able to see it on the camera, but they kind of get compressed. So when you keep them inside your kit, just try to be mindful of this, because they can and it makes it a little bit less usable. I got another needle here for the subcutaneous stuff again, and I got a second one here because they're very cheap to buy. I think they're like $2, but to having a kit like this has multiple use. And I have here a for the friends, for the men's, a male external condoms. So instead of putting something in, I can collect urine as well by just using this little condom here. And it applies like a condom, but basically now when the person pee, it absorbs, it goes through the catheter, and now I can collect it in the bag. So if I were to have to do long-term care, somebody that would be unconscious still need to pee, so that would be a good way of collecting and stuff. I still have a lot of stuff to go through, and this video I just noticed that it's starting to get long, so it looks like I'm going to have to do a 2 parts. This was the first part, and we'll do a second part with the rest of the kit. Talk to you soon.